Wheatberry and Wheatberry once again. What's up, 23% Nation? This is your man, Coach D. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning I want to bring you a brand new video entitled Whole Grain of the Day, the one and only Wheatberry. So maybe you've heard of it, maybe you've never heard of it, maybe you've tasted it, maybe you hated it. Regardless of the situation, guys, let's get ready to dive just a little deeper into the wonderful world of the wheat berry. All right, first up, just a little bit of background information. The wheat berry is the whole grain form of wheat. Interesting. Also, it's composed of all three parts of the wheat kernel, including the wheat germ, the bran, as well as the endosperm. Because the wheat grain berry contains the bran, the germ, and the endosperm, it contains a concentrated amount of protein, fiber, micronutrients, and boasts a long list of health benefits. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. When you consumed a wheat berry, ultimately you're consuming a whole grain. Why? Because it contains all three parts: the wheat germ, the bran, as well as the endosperm. All right, now it's time to dive into a few fun facts. Number one, the wheat berry can be cooked and added to dishes or ground up to make wheat flour. Interesting. It can also be used to be added to soil and grown into wheat grass. That's right. So maybe you've seen maybe a restaurant or store actually growing wheat grass. Well, now we know where it comes from, the wheat berry. Now take a look at the picture. And as you can see, we can consume the wheatgrass on its own, or maybe we can convert it into wheatgrass juice. By the way, it tastes amazing. Here's our last little fun fact. Once the wheatgrass reaches 4 to 6 inches in height, you can cut it just above the roots and use the wheatgrass immediately. So once again, we can cut it, we can then perhaps add it to a smoothie, or maybe just add it to a juicer and drink it on its own. Whatever the case may be, please do it. Why? Because it's not only delicious, but it's also nutritious. All right, now here is a word of caution, right? So here we go. If you have celiac disease, a wheat allergy, or a sensitivity to gluten, you should definitely avoid wheat berries. That's right, guys. Also, wheat berries contain gluten, which can trigger adverse side effects for these individuals. So, as I just said, if you have celiac disease, if you have some type of allergy towards any type of wheat or wheat products, or maybe you're just very sensitive to gluten in and of itself, then please stay away from wheat berries. And that also means you probably want to stay away from the wheatgrass. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a word of caution to keep you healthy. All right, now it's time to dive into the 520 rule. Ladies and gentlemen, the 520 rule is all about food labels. That's right, guys, food labels. Ultimately, it's a guide. It's a guide that lets us know whether or not a food item is a good source or not a good source of any particular nutrient. Now, specifically when we talk about the 520 rule, we're really talking about the percent daily value, abbreviated percent DV. Now, if we take a look at our sample food label, you'll notice that percent daily value is highlighted in lavender, right? So you not only see the words, but then you also see a column of percentages. Now, in a little while, I'll explain exactly what those percentages mean. Now, you also see certain nutrients that are highlighted in yellow, such as total fat, saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and sodium. And then we have other nutrients that are highlighted in the light blue, such as dietary fiber, vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron. Now, here's what you want to remember when it comes to these nutrients in particular. The nutrients that are highlighted in yellow Well, unfortunately, they do a very good job at promoting disease. So when it comes to the 520 rule, you want to be sure that the percentages, the percent DV is on the lower end. However, if we focus on the nutrients that are highlighted in light blue, such as fiber, vitamins, and minerals, well, those nutrients do a good job at promoting health, not disease. So when it comes to the 520 rule, you simply want to make sure that whatever you're eating, processed or plant, right, that the percentages are on the higher end of the spectrum. Now, let's be a little more specific. So if a food item offers anywhere from 0% to 9% of any nutrient, then it is not a good source of that particular nutrient. Now, if the food item offers 10% to 19% of any particular nutrient, then the food item is a good source of that nutrient. And lastly, if the food item offers 20% or more, then the food item is an excellent source of that particular nutrient. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the 520 rule. Basically, it helps us understand how to better read a food label. All right, now that we're fully aware of the 520 rule, let's now dive into the nutrition facts of wheat berries. So, according to the USDA, right, a quarter cup serving of wheat berries contains the following nutrients. Number one, a quarter of a cup is only going to provide you with 158 calories, 33 grams of carbs, 7 grams of protein. How nice. 1 gram of fat, 6 grams of dietary fiber. Now let's dive into the minerals and the vitamins. First up is manganese, coming in at a whopping 97% DV. So that makes wheat berries an excellent source of manganese. Next up is selenium, coming in at 49% DV. Amazing. So what that translates to is that this quarter cup of wheat berries is an excellent source of selenium. Remember, it's 20% or higher. Next up is thiamine, coming in at 16%. So because 16% is between 10 and 19%, then that simply means that wheat berries are a good source of thiamine. Next up is phosphorus, coming in at 16%. So it's a good source of phosphorus. Then we have magnesium coming in at 15% DV. It's a good source of magnesium. Next up is niacin coming in at 14% DV. Well, it's a good source of niacin. Then we have copper coming in at 10%. Ooh, just at the bottom of the good scale, right? So wheat berries are a good source of copper. Then we have iron coming in at 10%. So that means that wheat berries are a good source of iron. Next up is zinc, coming in at 9%. It just missed the cut at being a good source, so technically it's not a good source of zinc. Lastly, we have vitamin B6 coming in at 8% DV. It also missed the cut, so technically it's not a good source of vitamin B6. And lastly, we have folate coming in at only 5% DV. So unfortunately, this quarter cup of wheat berries is not a good source of folate. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the nutrition facts of an official serving of wheat berries. All right, now it's time to dive into the health benefits. But before we do, Coach D wants to say this, that in order for us to experience the health benefits, guess what? You gotta put the good stuff in. Basically, this follows the principle of cause and effect, which simply says that every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. There is no such thing as luck and or chance. In other words, everything happens for a reason. So, if you're healthy, guess what? You caused it. On the other hand, if you're diseased, guess what? You caused that too. Unfortunately, that's how the principle works. So, in order to experience the health benefits of wheat berries, or shall we say wheat grass, we must put it inside of our bodies. Now, once we put this food item into our bodies, look at what's going to happen. Number one, it promotes regularity. In other words, it helps to prevent constipation. In other words, it helps you do a number two, not only easy, right, but also more often. Also, it supports heart health. It regulates blood sugar. Now, that's excellent news for anybody that is pre-diabetic or diabetic. Also, it aids in weight loss. That's right. So if you're out there trying to lose a little bit of weight, right, it's easy. Eat more wheat berries. Also, it strengthens your bones and it also helps to prevent anemia. Amazing. So there we have it, the health benefits of wheat berries. All right, now it's time to go to our website for everything vegan. Yes, say hello to forksoverknives.com. Now, as usual, I went to the website, did my research, and look at what I found. Two amazing vegan wheat berry recipes that I would like to share with you right now. The first one is entitled Italian Roasted Vegetable and Wheat Berry Buddha Bowl. Nice. The second recipe is Autumn Wheat Berry Salad. Looks amazing. Now, if either of these recipes has in some way, shape, or form whet your appetite, all right, please go to the description box. Why? Because there I am providing a direct link to these recipes. Now, here's the good news is that if you decide to visit the website, then you're going to find some really great information, such as instructions, cooking time, and an ingredient list. So do me a favor, go to the website, make the dish, taste the dish, and then come back to the video and let Coach D know exactly how you like it, right? So there you have it, guys. Visit forksoverknives.com in order to make these two amazing wheat berry vegan dishes. All right, 23% Nation, I hear you. A lot of you are saying, Coach D, I really appreciate the caution tale. I really appreciate the fun facts. And I even enjoyed learning about the 520 rule. But what I really want to know is, when should I eat more wheat berries, right? Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the perfect day, and I do mean the perfect day to eat more wheat berries is Nature Day. That's right, Nature Day. Guys, basically Nature Day is the first day of the 23% challenge. Now, what is the 23% challenge? Basically, it's a monthly 7-day wellness program that is designed to help improve your health, your wealth, your relationships. Oh, and by the way, it also helps to save planet Earth. Yes, only in 7 days. Now, here's the interesting thing about the challenge is that it's the first 7 days of every single month, the first through the 7th. Now, being that Nature Day is the first day of the challenge, that simply means that Nature Day is the first day of every single month. So, whether it's February 1st, April 1st, or even July 1st, it's always Nature Day. Now that I've piqued your interest about Nature Day, why don't we dive into it just a little deeper? Ladies and gentlemen, Nature Day is all about getting closer to nature. Now, yes, there are lots of different things you can do in order to get closer to nature, but what Coach D wants to promote is to get closer to nature by simply putting it in your body. That's right, guys. It's time to eat more plants. Now, perhaps you are considering transitioning to a more whole food plant-based diet, or maybe you just simply want to eat more plants to become more healthy. If that's you, then I want to offer you 3 avenues that I believe can help make that transition easy, right? So first up is to try to become a 3% vegan. Now, what does that mean? Well, it simply translates to you only eating plant foods and only drinking water only 1 day out of an entire month. Now, of course, you can choose whichever day in the month you like, but I want to recommend that you choose that one day to be Nature Day, which once again is the first day of the month. Next up, you can try to become a 13% vegan. Now, a 13% vegan is someone who only eats plant foods and only drinks water only 4 days out of an entire month. Now, you can choose whichever 4 days you like. It could be the first 4 days of the month, or you could maybe do 1 day per week, providing the month has at least 4 weeks. Okay? And lastly, you can try to become a 23% vegan. Now, technically, that's what Coach D considers himself to be, is a 23% vegan. Now, what does that mean? It simply means that for the first 7 days of every single month, I only eat plant foods and I only drink water. Now, the question is, which plant foods do you eat, Coach D? Well, it's very simple. I only eat the plant foods that come from the 5 food groups of plant foods. So what are those? Number 1 are going to be all fruits. Number 2, all vegetables and herbs. Number 3, all legumes, meaning beans and peas. Number 4, all nuts and seeds. And number 5, all whole grains. And of course, I only drink water. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Just a little more information about Nature Day. All right, now here are some tips for Nature Day. Why? Because I want your Nature Day to be successful. Number 1, go to your local grocery store. Now, when you get there, you basically are going to go to 2 places. You're going to go to the produce section. Why? Because that's where they have all the fresh fruits and vegetables, right? And also, you can go hang out in the freezer aisle, but only where they have the frozen plant foods. Next up is to go visit a farmer's market. Now, believe it or not, there are lots of advantages to shopping at a farmer's market versus a grocery store. Why? Because number 1, the produce is going to be organic. Number 2, they're going to use less pesticides and herbicides. And number 3, you may end up saving money. Why? Because the fruit, or shall we say the produce, is grown locally, reducing the transit time, and that savings is then passed on to you as the end consumer. Next up, go visit the prepared dishes section of your local grocery store. Now, this part of the store may be known as the kitchen. Go ahead, walk on over, talk to the person behind the counter. Ask them if they have any vegan or vegetarian options. Ask them for a quick sample to taste. Hopefully you like it, and then purchase the food item or the dish either by the pound or why not 2 pounds. And my last little tip for Nature Day is for you to go visit a vegan restaurant. That's right, guys, a vegan restaurant. Not only is it important that we support the wellness community, but here's what I like to say, a shoemaker to his shoes. In other words, vegan restaurants are amazing. Why? Because they not only promote wellness, but they also employ vegan chefs who basically know how to combine plant foods in order to deliver the most nutritious, delicious dishes, right? So do me a favor if you decide to go to a vegan restaurant. Number 1, let them know that Coach D sent you. And number 2, be sure to order something that has wheat berries in it. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 4 tips from Coach D that'll help make your Nature Day very successful. All right, it's now time for our question of the day, which comes from yours truly and the rest of the 23% Nation. We have inquiring minds, so we want to know, which wheat berry recipe do you prefer? Was it the first one, the second one, or maybe, just maybe, you know of a vegan wheat berry recipe that you would like to share with us? So, whether you want to take one of mine or share one of yours, please write your answer in the comment box below. Guys, I want to thank you for listening. I definitely want to thank you for watching. As always, let's eat well, feel well, think well, do well, be well. This is your man, Coach D. Now, before I sign out, I gotta ask you to please subscribe, like, and share the video, especially if you love wheat berries. Also, don't forget to use our 3-word mantra. It's hashtag eat more plants. As stated before, my name is Coach D. I'm signing out. Always remember to take care, God bless, and never ever forget that Coach D loves you.